Jimmy Roy.
Good evening and welcome to round one of the playoffs for Louisiana high school football. It is Louisiana Prep Scoreboard presented by Lake Urgent Care. Cade Wazan, Todd Black, and Jimmy Roy. Coach Todd Black has the good seat tonight, so everything should be smooth sailing from the jump. Hey, we had no Catholic High on the radio tonight. They had the bye, so we are awaiting our TV audience tonight who had the game time on Your View. Zachary over Sam Houston, 54-35. And our audience on Your View will be joining us shortly. You can also watch us tonight on the 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. And throughout the night, we're going to be updating you on all 8 brackets. We'll go from all the non-select brackets through all the select brackets and give you finals from tonight and some of the playoffs from last night. In an hour or two, we'll set the scene for what's going to happen in the second round, also known as the regional round of the postseason. Before we get up and get started, should note the change coming into this week. Last week when we left, weren't exactly sure how things were going to play out. Didn't know if we were going to see brackets come out on Selection Sunday. But I think Coach Black and Coach Roy, Mr. Bonine was kind of put in a tough spot, and I think made the best of a tough situation. We have the playoffs obviously starting this week, and the I don't know what you'd call it, the meeting or hearing is going to be held on Monday for University High School, and basically either they play on and advance or they forfeit their position, and their opponent for next week will get a bye week, is my understanding, right?
If it's not getting delayed.
Okay.
I think that's the overall goal. If they can get it pushed back and delayed, the longer UHI stays in the playoffs, right?
Right.
But you're correct. I think Buckeye got beat. So Booker T. Washington would advance to the quarterfinals if things went on Monday like they go by on the book. If they go by what the LHSA and the handbook reads, UHI will be out of the playoffs.
It would seemingly be, it seems to me pretty simple. I know there's more to it than that.
Not really.
No?
No,
Okay.
It is simple. I mean, and that's kind of the thing that's aggravating about the whole thing. It's that simple. But, choosing to pursue this is only keeping kids out of the playoffs that probably should be in it.
So that is where that stands. Want to make sure we got that out of the way. We'll get to a scoreboard in just a bit. All three of us had a chance to check out a ball game tonight. I know Skip was out at Parkview Baptist, and the Eagles really showed some life tonight. And it seems to be, early in the season, we know they were struggling. It didn't seem like the traditional Parkview Baptist team. Zachary got out to a very hot start and let Sam Houston back in that ball game. And out in Dutchtown, Coach, how was it for you?
Turnovers were the key to the game for Dutchtown. They had 3 turnovers, giving up 21 points. But also earlier in the week, Dutchtown lost their quarterback, Dylan Champagne, with a torn ACL. Dylan is an outstanding quarterback, an outstanding baseball player. Unfortunately, he's going to miss missed the rest of tonight, and also he will miss baseball season.
That's tough.
And a good kid.
Yep.
I mean, and here's what's bad. Here's a kid who's waited his turn. He's a senior. He's waited his turn patiently, was in a competition last year for the starting job, and he bought his time and did everything that he could to get better, dual sport athlete, that maybe even has a little potential to play either sport at the next level. So
no doubt.
I hope the college coaches stick with the young man. It's a tough way for Guy Mistretta and his staff to go out, but at the same time, that's back-to-back game where Walker's put up 40-something points against Dutchtown in both of their losses. So,
it was 7-7.
The game turned right before the half.
Well, it was 7-7 with 28 seconds left to go in the half,
and ended up 20-7. 20-7
because of a turnover. So, and then it was like they just had a mental letdown because they came back out of the halftime. They went down. It was 20-14. And, things were going well, and Dutchtown got the ball back, and they turned it over. Next play, Walker scored. And it's a game of momentum, a big game of momentum. And Dutchtown had it. They let it go, and Walker took advantage of it. And in the playoffs at this time, you can't turn the ball over much less 3 times.
Yeah.
And so they just never could recover from that.
You're playing a game, teenage boys, emotional. At the Zachary situation, they had a chance to go up 28-0, maybe even at worst 24-0. And at that point, if you're an opponent, if you're Sam Houston, you're wondering where your head's at in the ball game. Instead, they kind of got some new life breathed into the ball game and tied it up before half. So you never know how these things play out. Let's get you caught up. We got 8 brackets to go through tonight. Like I said, what we'll do in hour 1 is give the final scores. Throughout the night, you'll have a chance to get every final from the round 1 of the playoffs. And in hour 2, we'll take that time to kind of set the scene for what's going to happen in round 2, who is traveling, who is hosting. We'll go all through the non-select and the selects. Let's start first on non-select Division 1.
The Division 1 non-select playoff bracket, insured by State Farm.
Covington, the 16 seed, they defeat Barb 36-29. Chalmette over Terrebonne 20-17. It was Hanville over HL Bourgeois 49-39. Mandeville over Thibodaux 31-16. West Monroe over Parkway 35-14. Denham Springs falls to West Washita 42-41. Walker 41, Dutchtown 27, Southside 42, Live Oak 10.
The Division 2 non-select playoff bracket, presented by InvestStar Bank.
Iota 21, Assumption nothing. Plaquemine 43, Grant nothing.
The Division 3 non-select playoff bracket, connected by Rev.
Pine over St. Helena 40-16. Union Parish 42, Oakdale 6. Mansfield over Avoyelles 58-14. Sterlington 63, Patterson 12. Lauraville 48, Marksville 26.
The Division 4 non-select playoff bracket, pumped by Peak Performance.
Welsh 59, West St. Mary 24. Franklin 44, White Castle nothing. Mangum 63, East Iberville 28. East Feliciana 6, Homer nothing.
The Division 1 select playoff bracket, fueled by Frogs at Magnolia Beach.
Huntington 34, Hammond 6. John Curtis 21, Brother Martin 13. Jesuit over Lafayette 45-7. Bird over Woodlawn of Baton Rouge 20-0. Evangel over Captain Shreve 58-48.
The Division 2 select playoff bracket, cared for by Lake Urgent Care.
St. Charles over Northside 33-8.
The Division 3 select playoff bracket, presented by attorney Chris Perret.
Parkview over Lafayette Renaissance 49-21. Lafayette Christian 72. Beekman Charter 0.
The Division 4 select playoff bracket, restored by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic.
Westminster Christian 54. Delta Charter 12. Southern Lab shuts out Sacred Heart 52-0. Central Catholic 14. Lincoln Prep 0. Hamilton Christian 41, St. John 30. And Opelousas Catholic 34, Westminster Christian Lafayette 33.
All right, thanks you, Skip. If those who are tuning in, we now have joined our audience on Your View. You can also watch us tonight on the 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. This is the playoff round one edition of Louisiana Prep Scoreboard, presented by Lake Urgent Care on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and Your View.
Don't have time for a stomach virus?
I don't have time to be sick today.
When you're sick after hours or weekends, you don't have time to wait around. Save time and money and feel better faster with Lake Urgent Care and Lake After Hours.
At Louisiana Turf Cleaning, our number one priority is athlete safety. We specialize in sanitizing and general cleaning maintenance of artificial turf sports fields. From the constant wear and tear on the field to the bacterial, mold, and viruses that get under those turf fibers, we take care of it all. We also remove any unseen metal in the turf that could potentially cut an athlete. For more information, call me, Kerry Myers, to get a quote today, 504-453-6950. And let Louisiana Turf Cleaning keep your playing surface safe, 504-453-6950.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. BRAC, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Back to the Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show with Cade, Todd, and Jimmy. Presented by Lake Urgent Care on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Welcome back to the playoff round one edition of Louisiana Prep Scoreboard, presented by Lake Urgent Care. Cade Wazan, Todd Black, and Jimmy Roy throughout the night will be updating you on what happened from last night through tonight in round one and checking in on round two, setting the scene for a couple of teams that had buys. And as we go through some of these numbers and get some of these scores in, we will pass them along as lots of games have indeed gone final tonight.
Getting bad news already. According to 14-0 Productions, which is a very reliable source from North Louisiana, Faraday 30-7 winner over Lake Arthur, but they had a brawl late in that one. It ended the game, and so you can look for some suspensions and possibly forfeits coming out of that.
Ooh, ugly.
Not a way to start the playoffs.
No, not at all. Have not seen, and maybe you guys, I know we are efforting to get them out here in a final with Baker and Donaldsonville quite yet. Interesting to see how the Tigers do in their first year in the postseason under Coach Darnell Lee. They can pick up a playoff win. We do know that there's a couple of teams here in the area that did have buys going into this week, one of them being Catholic High, and you'll hear that game on the radio next week. 6:45 p.m. pregame and 7 o'clock kickoff. Let's see here. I'll tell you what, let's get you caught up on some of the scores here. We'll go another round of our scoreboard. We'll start on the non-select side in Division 1.
The Division 1 non-select playoff bracket, insured by State Farm.
Covington over Barb, 36-29. Chalmette defeats Terrebonne, 20-17. Hanville over H.L. Bourgeois, 49-39. Mandeville over Thibodaux, 31-16. West Monroe defeats Parkway, 35-14. West Ouachita, 42. Denham Springs, 41. Zachary defeats Sam Houston 54-35. Walker over Dutchtown 41-27. Southside over Live Oak 42-10. Northwood Shreveport 54, Salmon 27. Destrehan over Ouachita 30-12. And Westgate over Sandoval 28-20.
The Division 2 non-select playoff bracket, presented by InvestStar Bank.
West Feliciana 50, Carroll 29. Iota shuts out Assumption 21-0. Lakeshore 48, Rain 14. Iowa 48, Lagrange 6. Wassman defeats Minden 26-11. Bruley over South Beauregard 49-29. Opelousas over Bastrop 47-6. Northwest defeats DeRitter 35-7. And Plaquemine shuts out Grant 43-0. North DeSoto blanks Woodlawn Shreveport 44-0. Belle Chase defeats North Vermilion 56-21. Cecilia over Pearl River 50-29.
The Division 3 non-select playoff bracket, connected by Rev.
Pine over St. Helena 40-16. Kaplan shuts out North Webster 50-0. Union Parish over Oakdale 42-6. Red River defeats Winfield 48-6. Westlake over Crowley 55-0. Mansfield defeats Avoyelles 58-14. Lakeside 37, Bogalusa 12. Sterlington over Patterson 63-12. Gina blanks Caldwell Parish 52-0. Port Allen over Church Point 16-7. And Lauraville 48, Marksville 26.
The Division 4 non-select playoff bracket, pumped by Peak Performance.
Montgomery over Vinton 42-40. Welsh defeats West St. Mary 59-24. Faraday over Lake Arthur 30-7. North Iberville 44, Oberlin 6. General Trask 64, Centerville 20. Grand Lake 23, Jonesboro Hodge 20. Franklin shuts out White Castle 44-0. Elton beats Basile 22-18. Logansport shuts out Varnado 61-0. Mangum over East Iberville 63-28. West St. John defeats Arcadia 40-6. And East Feliciana 6, Homer 0.
The Division I Select Playoff Bracket, fueled by Frogs at Magnolia Beach.
Huntington over Hammond 34-6. St. Aug over Carencro 44-7. McDonough 35-49. Riverdale 9. East Jefferson over Bonneville 28-10. John Curtis over Brother Martin 21-13. Jesuit over Lafayette 45-7. Bird shuts out Woodlawn, Baton Rouge 20-0. And Evangel 58, Captain Shreve 48.
The Division II Select Playoff Bracket, cared for by Lake Urgent Care.
LaRanger all over Kenner Discovery 60-7. Lake Charles College Prep shuts out McKinley 42-0. St. Charles defeats Northside 33-8. Astruma, a close one over Booker T. Washington of Shreveport 46-44. Hannon defeats St. Michael 29-20. Loyola Prep over Sophie B. Wright 63-44. And Booker T. Washington of New Orleans 56, Buckeye 14.
The Division III Select Playoff Bracket, presented by attorney Chris Perrette.
Parkview is a 49-21 winner over Lafayette Renaissance Charter. Lafayette Christian defeats Beekman Charter 72-0. Amy shuts out Sarah T. Reed 56-0. Slaughter Charter 50, Thomas Jefferson 20. Pope John Paul defeats Menard 39-14. D'Arbonne Woods Charter 42, Country Day 24.
The Division IV Select Playoff Bracket, restored by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic.
Westminster Christian 54, Delta Charter 12. Southern Lab shuts out Sacred Heart 52-0. Central Catholic blanks Lincoln Prep 14-0. Hamilton Christian over St. John 41-30. Opelousas Catholic 34. Westminster Christian of Lafayette 33.
Thank you, Skip. And also producing tonight, we got Ryan Kennedy on audio. We got Jacob Beck producing video tonight. And you can find us, like I said, on YouTube, the 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel, or on Your View as we go until midnight, recapping round one of the postseason. Starting on the non-select side, Jimmy Roy, what's stood out to you so far?
Let's see. Non-select. Covington going down to the wire, kicking the field goal right there at the end to win it. West Washita getting their first 10-win season over Denham Springs. Denham Springs was down 35-21 late in that game. Got two late touchdowns, including a 99-yard drive that finished with 13 seconds in the ball game. West Washita scored first in overtime, kicked the extra point. Denham Springs then scored, decided to go for two and did not make it. So that one there, congratulations to West Washita.
You know, talked to Jake Martin on the preview show earlier tonight, and, you know, this 4A team playing up in the playoffs. He mentioned, I asked him, you know, not knowing a lot about that football team, that area, what changed that team from being a 5 or 6 win team to a 9-win team. He said part of it was getting out of that 2-5A and playing in that the 2-4A district, and their one loss, I believe, the Franklin Parish this year, and they stood their ground tonight. Needed overtime, but they get the win tonight. So congratulations to the Chiefs.
I also thought West Monroe, the way they beat Parkway tonight, 35-14.
Mm-hmm.
It was 21-0 right off the bat before halftime. West Monroe kind of goes as their play action goes, if that makes sense. They, you know, we all know what they're going to do offensively out of the I formation. It's old school West Monroe football, but when they're hitting play action passes, they can be really good. When they don't, they're not. Last week they threw for 11 yards, I think it was, against Russ, and just couldn't get anything going. I don't know how that game played out, but they jumped ahead early and cruised. Chalmette with a big win. I think that was the last-second kick.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was the final play of the game, if I'm not mistaken. Chalmette beating Terrebonne.
Yeah.
That was a big win for Chalmette.
You know, this is a stupid question coming from someone who never played, but if it, you know, talk about the success of their play action, I guess you have to at least have teams that buy into thinking there's a threat for you to run, and that's a problem.
Yeah.
Because if not, then it's like, well, what do I worry about in that case that you're going to, you know.
Yeah, in other words, Jimmy was saying their running game had to be working.
Gotcha.
So if their running game's working, then you can have the play action. If your running game's not working, then the play action don't matter because they're not going to bite on it and bring your safeties down. You won't be able to hit the big plays. So that's kind of the deal with West Monroe. Everything goes from their running game, and then everything goes after that. If they can get that, they can hit you on a couple big plays.
And to touch on that, the part that I had seen them have with the play action wasn't that it wasn't there. They just didn't complete the throws. That makes sense. Quarterback was missing guys. It happened at Catholic High. And when I talked to Coach Davis before the Catholic High game that weekend, he basically said, if we can complete the play action passes, then we're pretty good. And when we don't, we're not. Because they're going to be there. Todd and I talked about this over the years. You take a Parkview, an Acadiana, all these teams that run, South Side, a bunch of these teams that are run heavy, running some type of veer or wing tee or something. If they can throw it 10 to 12 times a game and complete 8 for about 125, 150 yards, a couple of touchdowns, then it keeps teams from just sitting there putting 10, 11 guys within 5 yards of the football. It changes what you can do.
Making a long night on your part. Yeah. So this is round 1 of the postseason for our high school football season, and lots more to get to. 8 brackets, everything wide open tonight. It starts to narrow down with each week we get into the season. Everybody looking to get that practice week in, a week and a half or something, a week away from that Turkey Week practice that's ever so coveted. So lots to get to tonight. This is Louisiana Prep Scoreboard, presented by Lake Urgent Care on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and Your View.
Hi, I'm John D'Angelo, founder and CEO of Investar Bank. Here at Investar, we're about building lasting relationships, making the right moves, and catering to your needs because you are the heartbeat of our local community. Come on over and experience the Investar difference. Visit us anytime, any place, in person, or online. And tell them that John sent you. Fans, burgers are ready. Investar. Investar.
Don't have time for cold or flu?
I don't have time for the cold or the flu.
We're here to help with easy, convenient online check-in, virtual visits, or walk-in care. When you don't have time to be sick, feel better faster at Lake Urgent Care and Lake After Hours.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Do you think you have COVID-19?
I'm worried I may have COVID.
We're open 7 days a week for both rapid COVID and antibody testing. Life is busy. You don't have time.
Coach Brett Beard from Denham Springs High School, and you're listening to Louisiana Prep Scoreboard on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Welcome back to Louisiana Prep Scoreboard, presented by Lake Urgent Care, Kate Wazan, Todd Black, and Jimmy Roy. We are rolling through, and I believe we have
David Brewerton.
We got head coach David Brewerton from Zachary tonight as they get the win in the non-select Division I brackets. The win tonight over Sam Houston. Coach, congratulations on the win. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you guys for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Coach, one crazy first half. Again, you jump out as good as you possibly could have hoped for. 21-0. You score 3 touchdowns on your first 6 plays. You get a bad snap. You get it 1st and 15 or first down on the plus 15 with a chance to go up 28-0. Caleb, who's done a really good job of protecting the football, makes an ill-advised throw. I think maybe he got a little confident with the score possibly, and then the game turned. Sam Houston fought like heck, gets back in at 28-28. Take us through the second half. Seemed like you made some adjustments at halftime.
I don't know what kind of adjustments we made, but I can tell you this. It got a little old school in the old locker room tonight. That's totally unacceptable, what you just went through right there and the sequence of events that took place. And we had an opportunity to put our foot on somebody's neck and put them away early, and we didn't do it. And that's just unacceptable. We can't have that. And so I reiterated that point a few times at halftime. And there's a couple things that defensively we looked at and changed a little bit. But offensively, I just felt like, we could do what we needed to do and adhere to the game plan, and we absolutely did that in the second half. Our defense came out and got 3 3-and-outs to start the second half, and offense scored 3 touchdowns on all of those. So our starting defense pitched a shutout in the second half, so I was very proud of those guys. And offense, DeVecchio, Ruffin, had 6 touchdowns rushing again this week and 300 yards again this week. That's back-to-back 300-yard games with 6 touchdowns. So the O-line's playing well right now, and he's running the ball well. So very proud of our guys getting a first-round playoff win.
He's hard to find behind that line of scrimmage, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He kind of pops out of there, and he's got just enough speed to where if the angle's bad over the top, he can house it. He's just one of those guys that I've been watching him play in a Bronco uniform since he was in the 2nd grade, and he's always been really, really good, shifty running back, real low sense of balance there, and can run really low to the ground, and he's done a great job for us this year.
So, Coach, not to bust your bubble too much, but next week you play Ruston, and the reason I bring that up is because you were talking about 2 different halves. Next week you can't afford to do that. What do you change this week in practice to get your guys' mindset right?
Well, I think with who you're lined up against next week is going to help with that kind of focus level, I would think. It should. You're going on the road. Sometimes that helps with your focus level, and I'm excited about that. Certainly no strangers to each other. This will be the 3rd year in a row that we play in the postseason. 4th in the last 6 years, I think. So, Rustin and Zachary have hooked it up a lot, and we should know their personnel. I think they turned some caps from that last year's squad, and just want our guys to go up there and well, first of all, have a great week of practice and lock in and focus, and then go up there and just put everything on the line, And I talked to our team tonight after the game, and I said, look, pick the best night this year that we've played offensively, and then pick the best night that we've played defensively, and pick the best night that we've played on special teams. And I can promise you, they weren't all on the same night. So right. If you could ever figure out a way to get that all put together, we could be a pretty dangerous football team. And so, you're playing the returning state champs, for God's sakes. That you got to try to put something like that together on that night, and that's going to be the main thing we focus on this week.
I can remember talking with you the week you played Opelousas, and you was coming off of playing Acadiana earlier in the year, and you had mentioned that's why you scheduled those 2 teams was to get ready for Ruston and their physicality of the way their style of play is similar to those 2. So you just get them a little earlier than we wanted to see that one, but you get them, and it's kind of what you've built your whole season around. Well,
yeah, I think you're right, and I think it's one of those things where it's been talked about a lot in the off season, and just want to try to put it all together that night.
Coach, going back, obviously I would say the first series of the second half was the biggest series of the game because, like I said, Sam Houston had outscored you 28-7 in the second quarter, or starting maybe in the first quarter. Had scored right before halftime when you turned it over on your own 11 going in. You took Ruffin out for a little break. You turned it over on the 11, and they hit a big play and go right down the field and score to tie it. Had all the momentum, but your defense, like you said, was able to get that stop to start the second half. That had to be the turning point of the game.
Yeah, it was. We had great coverage on the kickoff and caught them inside the 20 and had a 3-and-out. Yeah, you're right. That was huge, and that's something that we discussed with the kickoff team and the defense. Was the last thing that we talked about leaving the locker room. Hey, listen, go get these first 2 things taken care of. All right, give us great coverage right here. Give us a 3-and-out. Let's put the offense on the field with good field position and go put one in. That took place. We kicked it off again, had another 3-and-out, put it in on offense, and then the third series, they actually threw a crossing route for a first down, and we made a hit on him, and he put the ball on the ground, which we recovered, and then put it in immediately. So really and truly, those 3 scores came rather quickly in the second half, as much they did, just like they did to begin the game. I just think we did a much better job of managing it after that took place.
Coach Brewer, I'm going to give you another tip. I know there's a lot of people out there listening. If they need some help with Thanksgiving, I got a place that they need to go that's not far from your stadium.
Oh, we're eating good tonight, Coach.
Oh, yeah, we're eating good. South Plains hooked us up with some green bean casserole, some broccoli cheese, rice,
Dressing.
all kind of good stuff. So for all them folks out in Zachary, keep South Plains in mind because they took care of us tonight, and it's delicious.
Joe Fresh does an unbelievable job, doesn't he? They kill it over there, man. It's an awesome place to go eat, without question.
No doubt. Well, Coach, congratulations on the win. This week when you call, I'll say, hold on a second, Zachary just scored again.
That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear.
All right, Coach, appreciate it, man.
All right, guys. Thank y'all.
You know, interesting how the playoffs work out, and we talked about the U-High situation where certain teams would fall based on their seedings and stuff like that. In Zachary's case, they get the win tonight, which is great for them, and now they advance to take on Ruston, a team, as he mentioned, they're very familiar with, and you get a semifinal state championship level matchup in round two.
You definitely do, and that's, you know, you're going to see, you know, we can talk about St. Augustine a little bit, how well they're playing, but, you know, the schedule that they've had has prepared them for right now, and we're not going to stop there. I mean, you have the Acadianas, of course, they had a bye, but you can even point to Lafayette Christian and talk about the games that they've played. They win 72-0 tonight. But, you know, when you start looking at those teams who's really scheduled difficult, especially pre-district, you start seeing them again. St. Charles Catholic again won tonight, and they'll have a good one against Madison Prep next week. But it does pay off if you can stay healthy through that early part of the season, and congratulations to all those teams that were able to manage to do that.
You think Evangel decided to run the ball a little bit better tonight? They got motivated a couple weeks ago.
I think the big
Still scoring high.
big thing in that game was they held the name skips right now, the running back from Captain Shreve to 90. I think he got 114 yards on 23 carries. A Plater kid is his name, but that's 93 yards under his average.
Wow.
So I think that was the big key in that game.
Yeah, and you
Still a
advance
shootout.
You advance to take on number 2 Ash next week. It's interesting. So, man, lots of storylines coming out of tonight. Let's get you caught up. We'll go through the 4 brackets on the non-select side here before we go to break. Here with non-select Division 1 is where we'll start.
The Division 1 non-select playoff bracket, insured by State Farm.
Covington over Barb, 36-29. Chalmette defeats Terrebonne, 20-17. Hanville, 49-39 winner over HL Bourgeois. Mandeville over Thibodaux, 31-16. West Monroe defeats Parkway, 35-14. West Ouachita defeats Denham Springs, 42-41. Zachary over Sam Houston, 54-35. Walker over Dutchtown, 41-27. Southside over Live Oak, 42-10. Northwood Shreveport over Solomon, 54-27. Destrehan defeats Ouachita, 30-12. Westgate over Sandoval, 28-20.
The Division 2 non-select playoff bracket, presented by InvestStar Bank.
West Feliciana over Carroll, 50-29. Iota defeats Assumption, 21-0. Lakeshore over Rain, 48-14. Iowa defeats Lagrange, 48-6. Wassman over Minden, 26-11. Bruley, 49. South Beauregard, 29. Opelousas defeats Bastrop, 47-6. Northwest over DeRitter, 35-7. Plaquemine shuts out Grant, 43-0. North DeSoto blanks Woodlawn Shreveport, 44-0. Belle Chase over North Vermilion, 56-21. And Cecilia, 50. Pearl River, 29.
The Division 3 non-select playoff bracket, connected by Rev.
Donaldsonville over Baker, 34-18. Pine defeats St. Helena, 40-16. Kaplan shuts out North Webster, 50-0. Union Parish, 42. Oakdale, 6. Red River defeats Winfield, 48-6. Westlake blanks Crowley, 55-0. Mansfield over Avoyelles 58-14. Lakeside defeats Bogalusa 37-12. Sterlington over Patterson 63-12. Gina blanks Caldwell Parish 52-0. Port Allen over Church Point 16-7. And Lauraville 48, Marksville 26.
The Division 4 non-select playoff bracket, pumped by peak performance.
Montgomery defeats Benton 42-40. Welsh over West St. Mary 59-24. Faraday over Lake Arthur 30-7. North Iberville beats Oberlin 44-6. General Trask over Centerville 64-20. Grand Lake defeats Jonesboro Hodge 23-20. Franklin blanks White Castle 44-0. Elton beats Basile 22-18. Logansport shuts out Varnado 61-0. Mangum is a 63-28 winner over East Iberville. West St. John over Arcadia 40-6. And East Feliciana blanks Homer 6-0.
At Louisiana Turf Cleaning, our number one priority is athlete safety. We specialize in sanitizing and general cleaning maintenance of artificial turf sports fields. From the constant wear and tear on the field to the bacterial, mold, and viruses that get under those turf fibers, we take care of it all. We also remove any unseen metal in the turf that could potentially cut an athlete. For more information, call me, Kerry Myers, to get a quote today, 504-453-6950. And let Louisiana Turf Cleaning keep your playing surface safe, 504-453-6950.
Don't have time for a cold? A cut? Those allergies? Or a sprain?
I really don't have time for this.
Lake Urgent Care is here to help with easy, convenient online check-in, virtual visits, or walk-in care. Plus, we're kid-friendly and open 7 days a week, including holidays and weekends. When you don't have the time to be sick or hurt, feel better faster at Lake Urgent Care and Lake After Hours.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's
Covering prep football from West Monroe to West Side. The Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show with Cade, Todd, and Jimmy. Presented by Lake Urgent Care on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Welcome back to the playoff round one edition of Louisiana Prep Scoreboard. Cade Wazan, Todd Black, and Jimmy Roy, and we are efforting to get Coach Dennis Gaines on from Cecilia.
At the top of the hour.
Okay, that's cool.
Short break.
Yep. They get the win tonight over Pearl River in non-select Division II, 50-29, and they get to make the trip next week to take on the Lutcher Bulldogs.
So there were 14 upsets, if you want to call them that, tonight. 5 from the 18 seed, 2 from the 19, the 17, the 21, and the 22 seeds, and 1 from the 24 seed.
Is that 24 Hannon?
Yep.
Hannon defeated St. Michael. You know, they just haven't been the same since John Martinez went down in week 7, I think it was. They struggled to score points in those games.
They were a 22 seed. I don't know what the 24. Let me find the 24 real quick. I'll find out. It was Chalmette,
okay.
24 seed beat 9 seed.
Yeah,
Terrebonne.
Yeah, St. Michael's just struggled there at the end of the season.
Without Martinez.
Being able to score points. And, Coach Soper and his guys over at Hayden come in at 1-9, but that's why you don't want to see a 1-9 team in it. I don't think you deserve to be in it, but that's why you got to go play the ball game. You have to go play it and take everyone serious because, when you go into they shouldn't be in, but when you go in, you're guaranteed 48 minutes of football going into this week. You go into next week, that's all you have left. That's the way you got to approach it.
They still could do some tweaking on the playoffs. I'm not sure. You got Haynes Academy that's
number 4,
and they got to buy, and they're just not a 4 seed. They're just not. And you got F.A. Douglas and Livingston College and Hannon, and these teams, they almost need to have a bracket by themselves. And, Hannon's been good in the past, but for the most part, they struggle and have a tough time. But if there was some more, they can look at some more tweaking. I just don't know how they're going to do it. It's tough.
You're going to have to reduce the number of teams in the playoffs. Drop it to a 16 or something like that. About the only way you'd have to do it.
Yeah, I mean,
look at Caldwell. They win last week and get in, and they're 1-9, and they get blown out tonight by a team that beat them by about 50 the first time. It was like 35-0 in the first quarter, I believe.
I mean, we talked about when they brought these brackets to the 8 that we see now. It's okay. This is probably the best we've done since we've had this, change in 2013. There's all kind of things that we could look back and say that these things, we used to have some of these teams that were way unbalanced in the first round. And it is kind of odd now after the last season or two to see a team that's 1-8 in this situation. But we do get to see some better matchups moving forward. I know next week, look, you get an Acadiana John Curtis on the select Division I side. And then this is a different year for John Curtis. I know that, but still.
Okay, Todd, I talked about the Division I select, some of the surprises or whatever. Division I select, do you see anything that was jumping out to you? Other than St. Aug just blowing Karen Crow out. They're playing really well.
No. I think the 4 semifinal teams I have that I've got in there is chalk.
Yeah.
It's 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah.
But John Curtis and Acadiana, that's game's going to go fast. If anybody can slow
about an hour and a half
down,
game.
Yeah, exactly. But I was going to touch real quick on the West Bank here. Port Allen, Bruley, and Plaquemine, all with big wins. Congratulations to all those
Port
guys.
Allen's the one that kind of surprised me. And Bruley jumped out early over South Beauregard, and and just ran away from that one right from the get-go, and that one kind of didn't surprise me that they won, but their first half had to be about perfect.
The Green Devils are flying under the radar. I mean, I know what you know,
yeah,
but I mean, they're beating we say it every week, but
everybody.
they're beating.
Northwest will be their best game, other than Zachary in week 1 when Zachary handled them pretty well. But yeah, Northwest, they're gonna be some that bottom half of that bracket in Division II. Jennings, Opelousas, Northwest, Plaquemine, North DeSoto, Belle Chase, Cecilia, Lutcher.
Yeah, Lutcher, Cecilia, or North DeSoto, any of those that come out of there should be the favorite until they get to the Dome.
Full scoreboard ticker throughout the night on the bottom of the screen if you're watching on YourView or the 104.5 ESPN YouTube page. We'll be right back.
Don't have time for a new rash?
I don't have time for this.
We're here to help with convenient virtual visits on your computer or any mobile device. If you don't have time to be sick, feel better faster with Lake Urgent Care and Lake After Hours.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours emergency. The light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our #1 product is always customer satisfaction. Visit us online at reliefwindows.com.
Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show, presented by Lake Urgent Care on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. From the Jamborees to the Superdome, your source for the most up-to-date scores and stats is right here. Now, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, here's Cade Wazan, Todd Black, and Jimmy Roy.
Good evening and welcome to Louisiana Prep Scoreboard, presented by Lake Urgent Care here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and Your View. You can also check us out on the 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. Our cast of thousands producing the program tonight. We got Ryan, we got Skip, we got Jake, and we appreciate everyone tuning in to tonight's show. Just a couple of weeks away from making the annual trip to the Caesars Superdome for a couple of lucky teams, and it all starts tonight with the postseason. Lots more stats to get to. We'll celebrate some of the high performers with our helmet stickers before we get out of here. We'll also speak to some more head coaches as we are efforting a couple as we speak. But let's get you caught up on scores, and then after this round of Scoreboard, we'll set the scene for what happens in round two. But we'll start first with some scores from the non-select side and Division I.
The Division I non-select playoff bracket, insured by State Farm.
Covington over Barb, 36-29. Chalmette defeats Terrebonne, 20-17. Hanville is a 49-39 winner over H.L. Bourgeois. Mandeville defeats Thibodaux, 31-16. West Monroe over Parkway, 35-14. West Ouachita defeats Denham Springs, 42-41. Zachary's a 54-35 winner over Sam Houston. Walker over Dutchtown, 41-27. Southside defeats Live Oak, 42-10. Northwood Shreveport, 54. Solomon, 27. Destrehan is a 30-12 winner over Ouachita. And Westgate, 28. Sandoval, 20.
The Division II non-select playoff bracket, presented by InvestStar Bank.
West Feliciana defeats Carroll 50-29. Iota shuts out Assumption 21-0. Lakeshore over Rain 48-14. Iowa defeats Lagrange 48-6. Wassman over Menden 26-11. Bruley over South Beauregard 49-29. Opelousas defeats Bastrop 47-6. Northwest over DeRitter 35-7. Plaquemine shuts out Grant 43-0. North DeSoto blanks Woodlawn Shreveport 44-0. Bell Chase over North Vermilion 56-21. And Cecilia 50. Pearl River 29.
The Division III non-select playoff bracket, connected by Rev.
Donaldsonville over Baker 34-18. Pine defeats St. Helena 40-16. Kaplan blanks North Webster 50-0. Union Parish defeats Oakdale 42-6. Red River all over Winfield 48-6. Westlake shuts out Crowley 55-0. Mansfield over Avoyles 58-14. Lakeside 37, Bogalusa 12. Sterlington a 63-12 winner over Patterson. Gina shuts out Caldwell Parish 52-0. Port Allen over Church Point 16-7. Lauraville over Marksville 48-26.
The Division IV non-select playoff bracket, pumped by Peak Performance.
Montgomery over Benton 42-40. Welsh defeats West St. Mary 59-24. Faraday over Lake Arthur 30-7. North Iberville defeats Oberlin 44-6. General Trask 64, Centerville 20. Grand Lake 23, Jonesboro Hodge 20. Franklin is a 44-0 winner over White Castle. Elton beats Basile 22-18. Logansport shuts out Varnado 61-0. Mangum over East Iberville 63-28. West St. John over Arcadia 40-6. And East Feliciana 6, Homer 0.
The Division I select playoff bracket, fueled by Frogs at Magnolia Beach.
Huntington over Hammond 34-6. St. Aug over Carencro 44-7. McDonough 35-49. Riverdale 9. East Jefferson 28, Bonneville 10. John Curtis is a 21-13 winner over Brother Martin. And Jesuit 45, Lafayette 7. Bird shuts out Woodlawn 20-0. And Evangel over Captain Shreve 58-48.
The Division II Select Playoff Bracket, cared for by Lake Urgent Care.
LaRange over Kenner Discovery 60-7. Lake Charles College Prep shuts out McKinley 42-0. St. Charles 33, Northside 8. Struma winner over Booker T. Washington Shreveport 46-44. F.A. Douglas and Livingston play Saturday. And Hannon 29, St. Michael 20. Loyola Prep 63, Sophie B. Wright 44. Booker T. Washington New Orleans 56, Buckeye 14.
The Division III Select Playoff Bracket, presented by attorney Chris Perrette.
Parkview over Lafayette Renaissance 49-21. Lafayette Christian shuts out Beekman Charters 72-0. Amite over Sarah T. Reed 56-0. Slaughter over Thomas Jefferson 50-20. De La Salle defeats Fisher 48-0. Pope John Paul 39, Menard 14. North Lake Christian defeats St. Louis 48-16. Dearborn Woods Charter 42, Country Day 24.
The Division IV Select Playoff Bracket, restored by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic.
Westminster Christian 54, Delta Charter 12. St. Martin's 55, Del High Charter 36. Kentwood over St. Mary's 56-6. Southern Lab shuts out Sacred Heart 52-0. Central Catholic shuts out Lincoln Prep 14-0. Washita Christian 49, Glenbrook 13. Hamilton Christian defeats St. John 41-30. Opelousas Catholic 34. Westminster Christian Lafayette 33.
Thank you, Skip. Getting our scores read tonight. And we're looking at the non-select Division II bracket here in just a bit, efforting to get Coach Dennis Gaines on tonight from Cecilia. As we mentioned, their next matchup facing number 2, Lutcher, a team, one of the teams, few teams from the area and really from around the state to finish the season a perfect 10-0 here in the Baton Rouge area. It was Dunham. It was Lutcher. Really a good program there, so interesting to see what matchup they'll have with the Cecilia Bulldogs.
So I'm trying to get on Netflix to check out this Mike Tyson fight.
Right.
But all my kids have my password and my username.
Locked out?
I'm locked out.
Oh, well.
Too many accounts at one time. I believe we got Coach Gaines on the line. Coach, thanks so much for joining us tonight. Great win over Pearl River tonight.
I appreciate y'all having me.
Coach, this year's been a little kind of crazy for you, honestly. You're 7-3. Your losses are to 3 really good teams with St. Aug, Central, and Opelousas. But in the Central game, you lose your quarterback Diesel for a little bit. It goes down, I think, in the first or second series of the ball game. And then you've kind of played him in spot duties here and there when you needed to and tried to get him some rest. What's his health right now?
He's as close to full speed as he's been since the Central game. He's still, I wouldn't say he's 100, but he's getting there. Each week, get a little bit stronger.
He's such a difference maker for you. I mean,
absolutely. I mean, he's just a football player, man. You can put him anywhere. Tonight he played Mike linebacker, and then he played corner, and then he played defensive end. He played quarterback. He's just a football player.
Coach, you pissed the football gods off because your draw is extremely tough. You got Lutcher next week, and then you would have the winner of North DeSoto, Belle Chase, and you got on the Opelousas at the top of that bracket. But you just got to go one week at a time, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think, the kids are embracing the idea of road dogs, and, we're going to be on the road the whole way. And I think they're kind of embracing that and enjoying the challenge. And look, there's a lot of belief we're probably the most confident, 7-3 team you ever met. But whether we should be or not, I don't know. But we feel like we can play with anybody.
Talk about Brent Gardner, UL commit, school's all-time leading tackler.
He's just a difference maker. Another one on the defense side of the ball, but he also plays offense. Him and Diesel are 4-year starters. They started as freshmen, and just they continue to improve every single year. A lot of guys. The coolest thing about Brent is, he was an all-state football player as a junior, committed, to UL and all that. And when he came back, all he did was become better, and it's a lot of kids when you get to that level, it's, you think you got it or you think you made it. All he did is he worked his tail off, and he came back a lot better football player than, when he left his junior year.
Coach, we talked a little bit earlier about teams that really strengthen their schedule. So don't get frustrated with me because I don't know your schedule from last year. I just know it from this year, which one was supposed to be Santa Maria, but it turned out to be St. Aug, and then, of course, Central. Do those games really, when you point back to your season, you say 7-3, but, those are two of your losses. And, what great teams they are. But does that really help your kids understand where they stack up when it's, hey, you're 7-3, but look at the teams you lost to?
Yeah, of course. Look, we've been blessed, man. Like, I've been blessed. We have a lot of good football players, and we've gotten it to a point where losing 3 games is disappointing. But I think the kids are smart. You can't lie to them, and I wouldn't lie to them if I could. But they know who we played, and what I love about them is they were excited. They play so much better when it's a team like that. They get excited. They want to play them. There's no fear, even when probably there should be some fear. But no, I think all those games do is make you better. I'm so happy we got to play St. Aug just because we got better as a football team. They exposed us a lot of areas. That's what good football teams do, and I think we improved because of it.
Coach, are you still running that, I guess you'd call it unconventional defense?
Yes, it's very unconventional. It frustrates me at times. I still don't understand it.
Well, Coach, look, congratulations on the win. I know that's a big one for you to go on the road, and you got a tough one next week against the number 2 seed Lutcher, Bulldog versus Bulldogs, and want to wish you the best of luck.
I appreciate it, man. Hopefully we'll talk again next week.
All right. Thank you, Coach. Todd, you look at the schedules. You mentioned their losses are to St. Aug, Central, and Opelousas. Okay, pull up Pearl River schedule.
Sure.
Pearl River's 5-4 and a 15 seed. And I would be willing to bet you their losses aren't to nowhere near the quality of those.
Well,
and yet that's where something has to be changed with the system.
LaRondre, Pearl River, and Jules Sumner are all the ones that always come out of there that we kind of question because of their strength of schedule. Jules Sumner's 4. But Jules Sumner beat a meet, right?
Yeah.
In overtime. Mm-hmm. But go ahead, Cade.
Yeah, so we got South Lafourche, Pine, Chalmette, Hannon, Lakeshore, Franklinton, Pope John Paul, LaRondre, and then
Lakeshore, Franklinton,
South Lafourche, Chalmette.
Or they beat South Lafourche.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
Chalmette.
Let's see. Chalmette was a win, 14-7.
So you never know what teams are going to be when you schedule them. So is South Lafourche 4 or 5A?
They've always been 5A growing up, but I'd have to double check. Let's see.
You've grown up.
Yeah. Some may say.
Yeah, no kidding, right? Depends on who you're talking to.
Let's see.
I want to say they dropped to 4A
now. They might have.
Look at Opelousas, keep it in that same bracket. Look at Opelousas and Jennings, who play next week. I mean, those are two very good teams.
Opelousas is hitting their peak, though. They beat Cecilia. Their losses were
they are because Central Lafourche is in the 5A district.
They lost to Zachary. They lost to Turlings week 1. They lost to Zachary, and then they lost that 1-point or 2-point game to Ash. And since then, they've won. They got a win over Cecilia a couple of weeks ago. They're playing well. They're the defending champs. They've been through the battles. Jennings has I think 9 wins. I think they may have lost week 1 if I'm not mistaken, and hadn't lost since. Have the running back Zenon, I think his name is really good, but Opelousas, I just got to favor them in that, in that game there.
It's good to see Wassman. We watched them last year as they made a run, and they struggled earlier this year. And Minden was a pretty good team, and they went over and beat Minden pretty handily. Now they got to face off against Iowa, which they may have played. They either played Iowa or Iota just a couple of weeks ago, and it wasn't even close. I'm gonna have to check and see who that was.
And then Bruley and Franklin Parish, that team from that 4A district up north, that was really surprising.
They're playing really well. Lakeshore is going to be a tough one with their wing tee. Coach Brent Endes does a really good job. Franklinton, number 1 seed, has beat just about everybody. I think they may have 1 loss on the year. Some good football in 4A. And the thing that I like about it, all of these games are going to be competitive games probably, and anybody can win this bracket.
Wassman played Iowa September 27th and lost 41-18. So interesting. They're going to have that rematch
right before that rivalry game with Carroll the following week. So
what is that? The
Baby Bayou Classic.
Baby Bayou Classic.
All right, to take a time out, and we'll be right back. It is the playoff round 1 edition of Louisiana Prep Scoreboard, presented by Lake Urgent Care on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. In your view.
Hi, I'm John D'Angelo, founder and CEO of Investar Bank. Here at Investar, we're about building lasting relationships, making the right moves, and catering to your needs because you are the heartbeat of our local community. Come on over and experience the Investar difference. Visit us anytime, any place, in person or online. And tell them that John sent you. Fans, burgers are ready. Investar. Investar.
Don't have time for a stomach virus?
I don't have time to be sick today.
When you're sick after hours or weekends, you don't have time to wait around. Save time and money and feel better faster with Lake Urgent Care and Lake After Hours.
At Louisiana Turf Cleaning, our number 1 priority is athlete safety. We specialize in sanitizing and general cleaning maintenance of artificial turf sports fields. From the constant wear and tear on the field to the bacterial, mold, and viruses that get under those turf fibers, we take care of it all. We also remove any unseen metal in the turf that could potentially cut an athlete. For more information, call me, Kerry Myers, to get a quote today, 504-453-6950. And let Louisiana Turf Cleaning keep your playing surface safe, 504-453-6950.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck. your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our #1 product is always customer satisfaction.
Now back to the Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show with Cade, Todd, and Jimmy. Presented by Lake Urgent Care on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Welcome back to playoff round 1 edition of Louisiana Prep Scoreboard, presented by Lake Urgent Care, Cade Wazan, Todd Black, and Jimmy Roy. Time for us to honor our State Farm Student Athlete of the Week. He comes to us from Live Oak, Wyatt Tynes. He is a beast on defense, and I love this bio, Jimmy. Hunts, fishes, I believe he welds and does carpentry.
Yeah.
Did I get that right?
Yeah, hunt, fish, welding, carpentry work. Like I said, beast on the defensive side of the ball, 118 tackles, 3 sacks, 4.14 GPA, 23 on the ACT. Mr. Wyatt Tynes, congratulations, our State Farm Student Athlete, presented by our agents Drew Dillio, Brian Moe, Byron Gill, and Mitch Mueller. Coach Leggett said when I called, he didn't hesitate as to telling me who it was going to be, and he said, I know who it is right now.
The graphic that was shared with me that we incorporated with our graphic had him as the 4.0 GPA on the 2024 all-academic football team. So young man doing it on and off the field. Congratulations to Wyatt Tynes, this week's Student Athlete of the Week.
They had a tough loss at Southside, but Southside's going to be a good team.
Southside Walker is going to be an interesting.
Southside and Walker. Has Walker had the bye?
You have some funny looking eyes there. You don't think so?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Yeah. Looking at our brackets here, I know we were going back and forth. We'll stay. Where was that here?
Congratulations to Struma for the second year in a row with the first round win.
That is awesome.
Wait, there's something I want to say. Coach Sid Edwards,
Mayor Edwards. Hey, North
Iberville?
Yeah, North Iberville gets their first playoff win, being back since they've restarted their football program. So their first year of varsity football. It was the first home playoff game since 1998, and it was the first playoff win since 1988. And Coach Masterson sent me a thing today that they were pretty much shutting down the little town of Marygowen today, and they were having a community-wide tailgate party from 3 o'clock to 7 o'clock. Town's excited. So congratulations to them. Vornado to Logansport was the longest trip in round 1. Vornado traveled up there and ended up losing 61-0.
They got stuck on 190. They had to start that game late.
Yes.
But better on 190 than on the Chaffalot Basin.
Ooh.
There's no easy way to get. There's no easy way to get to Logansport from Vornado.
Anything you got to go west here is not easy on Fridays, especially.
I honestly thought they would have went up north and then cut over. But who knows?
Your boys at Slaughter won big.
Yeah, 50-20. Coach Clarkson's doing a good job. Congratulations to Coach Clarkson and Coach Jackie up there. Big win. I think they got Jules Sumner next week. That'll be 2 wing T-type teams, so that'll be a good one to keep an eye on. Jules Sumner's playing really well.
Some real good stories when you look throughout, whether it's North Iberville, seeing what Coach Sid's done with Estruma, with Slaughter, schools that a playoff win, not to say that it doesn't mean anything for other teams, but knowing how long it's been since you've had that success. St. Michael, I believe, was last year, had their first playoff victory. Things like that where you start to try to build things, and okay, we had a winning season, and on top of that, we added a playoff game. We got 2 extra weeks of practice, and then next year we made it to maybe a quarterfinal trip. And so, like, all these things you kind of add to your, if you're a coach and you're trying to build something, these things matter. And for these communities that shut down everything and start up, a program after 10 plus years not having a school, that's awesome.
And Estroma plays Haynes Academy, right?
Jimmy's top seed?
Yes, they do.
They can win that game.
Yes, they can.
And your boys come out as good as they could possibly get.
Don't give me that. Don't even start that. Don't even start that.
Estroma, Booker T, but they good.
Don't jump on my bandwagon.
Trust me, I'm not.
Yeah.
But right. Is that as easy of a draw as they could have had?
No.
Oh, yeah.
That's a tough draw.
Lord.
They knew what they were doing. Leave them alone.
That's right. Ooh, I tell you what, that draw in 2A or Division III done them, man, for being a number 1 seed. That's just a brutal draw on their top. They actually almost got punished for being a number 1 seed. But you got to play them all. You got to beat them eventually.
Mm-hmm. Now they get Parkview Baptist.
Yeah, and you
in
got
round 2, and then you got Lake
LCA, Notre Dame up there.
Bunky.
When you look at the bottom half, you got Calvary and Newman, and somebody Newman plays that could beat them. Who is that?
Darborn Woods?
Catholic of New Iberia, I think.
North Lake Christian's been playing pretty good this year.
They won't last.
You are the master of the obvious. That's the one thing that's for damn sure. That's why you got to go with St. Charles Catholic.
That's right.
Do some on the. You think Zachary and Ruston go up there? Zachary's played some of the toughest competition. That's they got just a shot as any, good a shot as any.
Both those teams have had really tough non-districts.
You got to say they're a heavy underdog to Ruston. I still think Ruston, even though they're third place in their district, I still think they're the team to beat in the non-select in Division I. I think they're playing a little better than Neville. They went through their little patch. You'll see whether Neville was a one game, just an off night against Ash, because Ash just completely dominated them last week. But
what do you mean? They went through, they beat Ouachita, Ruston, and West Monroe back to back to back, and you're about to say you're going to see if they're a one game what?
No, if that was just one-off game type thing.
Well, because they beat everybody on their schedule. They're 9-0.
I don't think Ash is that much better than Neville.
Oh, they definitely laid an egg last week.
They laid an egg. And you got to see if you can – how does that affect the rest of the season?
Jimmy, you know better than that.
Oh, okay. You never know.
I mean –
they got a good draw. I think you see them in Central in the semis easily.
If Central can get there.
Mm-hmm.
They got the defense to do it.
Yep.
And they got they got the draw to do it. I think those two got a really good draw.
With West Ouachita.
Neville's is good. Neville's as good as any. They meet up with Central in the semis. Neville will win that. There's no doubt.
I would say that too. I mean, I still think Neville and Ruston are the head or a notch above everybody else.
In the bottom, I have Airline. I think Destrehan will knock Airline off in the quarters. So my 4: Destrehan, Ruston, Central, and Neville.
Yeah, Destrehan is 5-0 or 6-0 now since Jacksonville comes back. He's completing about, I think it's 78%, 74% of his passes, and doing a really good job for them. They're a totally different team than they were when they lost their 3.
Was Airline kind of a team that just had a lot of big numbers, a lot of flashy numbers, and maybe confused a lot of people, maybe disguised some things, and they're a 2 seed, but maybe they're just not what you traditionally see out of a 2 seed?
So based on what we've learned through the years, what do they lack?
A little bit of defense?
Yep.
Yeah. A lot of defense.
And that's why I don't like them to be able to make a run, because eventually you're going to find somebody's defense is good enough to stop that offense, and then you're going to have to score with them.
Mm-hmm. And you don't even have to stop it. You just have to slow it down, get 1 or 2 stops a half.
Because they ain't going to stop you.
You know, and Destrehan has that offense to match them offensively. Now, that's not the style of play that Destrehan plays, but they have that ability to play it if they want to.
Well, and I think just knowing, I would think that athletic-wise, Destrehan will match them up. And they can, you know, and they'll be able to maintain. But Destrehan's still got to beat. Well, they'll beat Northwood Shreveport.
I go back to early in the season, a game against Catholic High. It took a late play for them to lose that ball game. So.
And Airline's got to get by Westgate. Westgate could give them a little bit of fist. Jabari Antoine, he is out for the year. Talked with Coach Ryan Antoine this week, and I knew he wasn't playing tonight, so that's hurt. They did get their other quarterback. They lost 2 of them, you remember, in the same game earlier in the season. Bryant Leon did come back tonight, though.
We'll take a timeout, and when we get back, we'll take a look at what's ahead in round 2. So everything coming up next is who is playing who and who is hosting what games in round 2 in our 8 brackets. This is Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Playoff Edition, presented by Lake Urgent Care on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and Your View.
Hi, I'm John D'Angelo, founder and CEO of Investar Bank. Here at Investar, we're about building lasting relationships, making the right moves, and catering to your needs because you are the heartbeat of our local community. Come on over and experience the Investar difference. Visit us anytime, any place, in person or online. And tell them that John sent you. Fans burgers are ready. Investar. Investar.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Don't have time for a cold? A cut? Those allergies? Or a sprain?
I really don't have time for this.
Lake Urgent Care is here to help with easy, convenient online check-in, virtual visits, or walk-in care. Plus, we're kid-friendly and open 7 days a week, including holidays and weekends. When you don't have the time to be sick or hurt, feel better faster at Lake Urgent Care and Lake After Hours.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call
Mahaffey from Walker High School, and you're listening to Louisiana Prep Scoreboard with Cade, Todd, and Jimmy on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Welcome back. Louisiana Prep Scoreboard presented by Lake Urgent Care. Again, a special shout out to South Plains Food Company out in Zachary. Fed us and fed us right tonight. And really, it's like a Prep Scoreboard family Thanksgiving out there. If you are considering maybe, look, take the day off, just get it catered from South Plains. You're looking for a dish to bring to your family Thanksgiving, or if you just want to cut back and say, I'm going to let South Plains take care of it because the food is that darn good.
How'd you like that deck?
That is fantastic. What he said, 6,500 square feet?
Yeah.
Lots
Kendall
of room.
Schaefer Band was out there playing tonight.
Lots of room out there.
TVs?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think our other partner over there needs to go see one of our title sponsor, Lake Urgent Care.
They'll take care of you.
Yeah, he needs.
They got a
shot.
location all around. Yeah. Get that taken care of. Get it knocked out. We will look ahead now to round 2 of the playoffs. We'll go through all 8 brackets, and this is just setting the scene for who is playing where. And we'll start with non-select Division 1.
The Division I non-select playoff bracket, insured by State Farm.
Covington will travel to Neville. Chalmette will travel to Hahnville. West Monroe will travel to Mandeville. And West Washita will travel to Central. Zachary will travel to Ruston. And Walker will travel to Southside. North Destrehan will travel to Northwood Shreveport. And Westgate will travel to Airline.
The Division II non-select playoff bracket, presented by InvestStar Bank.
Franklinton will host West Feliciana, and Lakeshore will host Iota. Iowa will host Wassman, and Bruley will host Franklin Parish. Franklin Parish will host Bruley. Jennings will host Opelousas. Plaquemine will host Northwest. North DeSoto will host Belle Chase. And Lutcher will host Cecilia.
The Division III non-select playoff bracket, connected by Rev.
St. James will host Donaldsonville. Kaplan will host Pine. Union Parish will host Red River. Kinder will host Westlake. Mansfield will travel to Oak Grove. And Sterlington will host Lakeside. Gino will host Port Allen. And Erath will host Laurelville.
The Division IV non-select playoff bracket, pumped by Peak Performance.
Montgomery will travel to Haynesville. Faraday will host Welsh. North Iberville will host General Trask. Jeanerette will host Grand Lake. Franklin will travel to the Quincy. Logansport will host Elton. Mangum will host West St. John. And South Plaquemine will host East Feliciana.
The Division I select playoff bracket, fueled by Frogs at Magnolia Beach.
Huntington will travel to Edna Carr. St. Aug will travel to St. Thomas More. McDonald 35 will travel to Rummel. East Jefferson will travel to Catholic High. John Curtis will travel to Acadiana. Jesuit will travel to Turlings. Bird will travel to St. Paul. And Alexandria will host Evangel.
The Division II select playoff bracket, cared for by Lake Urgent Care.
Archbishop Shaw will host LaRanger. John F. Kennedy will host Lake Charles College Prep. Madison Prep will host St. Charles. Haynes will host Astruma. Edie White will host the winner of F.A. Douglas and Livingston. Vanderbilt Catholic will host Hannon. Leesville will host Loyola Prep. And U-High will host Booker T. Washington, New Orleans.
The Division III Select Playoff Bracket, presented by attorney Chris Perrette.
Parkview will travel to Dunham. Lafayette Christian will travel to Notre Dame. A-Meet will travel to Bunkie. Slaughter Charter will travel to Jewel Sumner. De La Salle will travel to Calvary. Pope John Paul will travel to Episcopal. Northlake Christian will travel to Catholic New Iberia. D'Arbonne Woods Charter will travel to Newman.
The Division IV Select Playoff Bracket, restored by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic.
Westminster Christian will travel to Vermilion Catholic. St. Martin's will travel to St. Edmund. Kentwood will travel to Ascension Episcopal. Southern Lab will travel to St. Frederick. Central Catholic will travel to Covenant Christian. Ouachita Christian will travel to Catholic Point Capee. Hamilton Christian will travel to Riverside. Opelousas Catholic will travel to Ascension Catholic.
Thank you, Skip, with our scores tonight as we look at the 8 playoff brackets on the non-select and select side. And there was a score I wanted to go back to here. Congratulations to Coach Lee in Donaldsonville. They get the win over Baker tonight, a 17-16. You can call it an upset. I know seeding-wise, but a lot of times it just depends on, where you're seated. The Buffaloes eliminated from the postseason. Now they take on Coach Davis and the St. James Wildcats next week. Local teams paired up against each other, and the other half of that is Pine and Kaplan.
They played recently also, hadn't they, Todd?
Who's that?
Donaldsonville and St. James.
Yes.
They played like 8, 9, 10, somewhere in there. D'Arbonne Woods with their first playoff win. School history, I believe. So good win for them.
Yeah, Kaplan dominated North Webster. We know that certainly they were a team that was having a strong season. And Erath, that number 2 seed down there, and getting ready to take on Laurelville next week with Gina and Port Allen on that part of the bracket as well.
Good draw for Erath. I don't know if they've played Laurelville. They're down in that same area, so there's a possibility they could have played earlier in the year. I do not know that, though. But
any second-round matchup, as you look at it, knowing that teams, are a lot of times matching up with teams with a bye. If you're a team that pulls the upset in the first round, is it more advantageous for you to play someone who, squeaked by, maybe got a close win themselves in round 2? Does it matter in that sense? You're just trying to get a win in advance.
You just win in advance. A couple of the games that I'm looking at right off the bat, you go to Division
Real
3.
quick, Laurelville and Erath did play week 1.
Week 1.
And Erath won 14-7.
Okay, so that's
all right. Sorry about that.
Terry Martin does a really good job down at Laurelville. Really good coach. You look at Division 3 Select, Dunham and Parkview, a rematch from week 1 that Dunham just blew them out. It kind of surprised me how bad it was, but Parkview's playing a little better. That's going to be a good one. You got LCA going to Notre Dame.
That's a rematch.
Yep. One that I'm interested in is Bunkie and A-Meet. You got a 5 and a 12. Bunkie has at 10-0 and has not trailed all year, and I think they've given up 56 points. I think it is 62 maybe now on the year. See how that, we talked with their coach last week about handling adversity, and they haven't had any, and we didn't know if it would affect them going into the playoffs, and he didn't know. But he's going to have some adversity playing A-Meet. He's not going to go blow them guys out. And then
they're going to be very physical.
De La Salle at 5-5 going into tonight, I think it was. They're improving. They played a fairly tough schedule early in the year, but I think Calvary walks through that one. Episcopal has a winnable game against Pope John Paul. Todd mentioned Northlake Christian playing really well. Catholic High New Iberia is playing really well also. I think they lost week 1, if I'm not mistaken, and haven't lost since then. They're at a 7 seed. It's kind of low. I mean, they're playing a little bit better football than a 7 seed.
And then the bottom, you have, as you mentioned, Darbone Woods traveling down to Newman, and Newman should handle that. But still, doesn't Darbone Woods have Terry Bowden on their staff?
Is that where it was?
I think it was.
Might have been. They were one of Delta Charters or Delhi Charter or something. It's one of those.
Yep.
Let me throw this round 2 matchup out. I know we've had a lot of praises to give Catholic of Point Capee this year. They take on Watchdog Christian. We know how strong, OCS has been on a playoff standpoint and in this time of year.
Year I think it's a tough year after year. Is that who they played in the state championship a few years back?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, Coach Fitzhugh does such a great job, but he had lost so many players from the year before. His schedule this year was not very good, and he'll tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
And they were undefeated going into Oak Grove last week, and they get beat 44-14. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you that this is a typical OCS team. So even though I would think they're the favorites, you got to give Catholic High a chance in this one, I would hope. Coach Caruso done a really good job. But, yeah, it's going to be a tough matchup for them. Southern Lab travels up to St. Fred. That's going to be a good one. Kentwood, Ascension Episcopal. One to keep an eye on is number 2, Ascension Catholic, and Opelousas Catholic. Opelousas Catholic is a 15 seed.
They were getting blown out tonight and came back and won that game. Yes.
So Cross Gillian, I think is the kid's name, is the quarterback. With him playing, they're undefeated. When he went out with some injuries and they lost a few games, so he's back. And you saw what they did to Catholic High Point Capee last week. So they're a dangerous team down there having to play Ascension Catholic.
Here's the thing: when teams face Ouachita Christian, they face a Ruston, they face traditional Acadiana, teams that are well known in the playoffs. I think the teams in the playoffs play different. I don't care if they had a weak schedule. I don't care, if they don't have that many returning starters. They play with a chip on their shoulder. They know they're supposed to be running deep in the playoffs, and they play that way. And those are why you see a lot of the same teams, in my opinion, make those runs, because they're used to being there.
They've been there. They know how to practice it. I was talking.
It's like they have another gear. They can kick it in just when they need to. And
I was talking with Chad Davis from Sam Houston yesterday, I think, Wednesday. And one of the keys he thought was, how do they handle the moment? You got to remember, Sam Houston's never won a Division I or a 5A playoff game. I didn't know that. That's hard to believe. But how did they handle the moment? Zachary's used to being there. Sam Houston's not. Mm-hmm. And it showed early in that ball game.
Right. Hats off to the way they made a little run there.
Oh, man, look. We both sit there and look and say, man, they fixing to get blown out here. It was ugly, but those kids fought and fought and fought, made big play after big play. So, yeah, once you saw them on the field, you could tell they were the underdog in that game and thought it was going to be closer than it was, just going off of things I'd looked at and having watched Zachary. But I'd asked Todd earlier in the year, we talked about it, do you think they underachieved this year? After watching them, no, I don't. I think he got the most out of his guys. I really do.
Yeah, and, look, they came in and they made a point where it could have been heads down city the rest of the game, and they turned it around and made that a ball game. And you got to look at that. The final score certainly is, you're going to take that bus ride home. You're going to be upset, but this was a different ball game. They made it a ball game, got the momentum back. There's a lot you can build from there. So we'll take a timeout, and we'll be right back to wrap things up here on this playoff round 1 edition of the Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show, presented by Lake Urgent Care on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and Your View.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
At Luba Workers' Comp, Our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Do you think you have COVID-19?
I'm worried I may have COVID.
We're open 7 days a week for both rapid COVID and antibody testing. Life is busy. You don't have time. Get your results fast at Lake Urgent Care and Lake After Hours.
Hi, I'm John D'Angelo, founder and CEO of Investar Bank. Here at Investar, we're about building lasting relationships, making the right moves, and catering to your needs because you are the heartbeat of our local community. Come on over and experience the Investar difference. Visit us anytime, any place, in person, or online. And tell them that John sent you. Fans burgers are ready. Investar. Investar.
Don't have time for a new rash?
I don't have time for this.
We're here to help with convenient virtual visits on your computer or any mobile device. If you don't have
Making the bus ride back home better since 2011. The Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show with Cade, Todd, and Jimmy. Presented by Lake Urgent Care on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Winding down this playoff edition of Louisiana Prep Scoreboard, presented by Lake Urgent Care. By request.
Yep.
DJ Ryan. As we wind
Ryan
down,
can spin some tunes.
You know, he used to play a lot more hipper stuff. Maybe just the busy of the season. We've been kind of tight with getting in and out of break. But maybe we can incorporate that in the playoffs.
I think it was
mix
the
up a little bit.
traffic caused him to be like that tonight.
Let's go ahead and honor some
Thought he was
students
late
with
leaving some
our helmet stickers.
Highlighting tonight's top performers. This is Helmet Stickers on the Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show.
I'll take my hat off to any team got their first playoff win. A North Iberville,
Yes.
a Slaughter. You come into this contest, you never know how far you can go, but you win and you advance. If you're a school, you get that extra week of practice. So You got your first playoff win. Proud of you. Certainly from the Baton Rouge area, we had a couple. So that's awesome.
Exactly who I was going with, North Iberville.
The Bears.
Just an awesome story.
Coach Masterson?
He's over there. I think he's running the offense. Who you got, Todd?
I'd say it's always tough to beat two teams twice, although we're going to have that face, and I'll give it to Walker as they beat Dutchtown tonight, 41-27. Congratulations to Chad Mahaffey and his team.
Westside defeated Lakeland in overtime, 56-49.
But y'all shared the same helmet sticker?
That's back-to-back, yeah.
He took mine.
No, he saw mine and wrote down.
Oh.
That's back-to-back overtime games for Westside, by the way.
All right. We'll see you round 2 next Friday night.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.